Hey, you, welcome back to the channel. And guys, today we're going to talk about The Punisher. This is the first two episodes review. And guys, I think it's pretty much gaining almost consensus that John Bernthal's portrayal of the Punisher may be the best we've ever seen. There have been several Punisher movies released, and none of them seem to really capture the spirit of the character like what we get here with John Bernthal and the Netflix Marvel team up. And so Netflix has released the episodes now that you can watch. And we will cover the first two episodes. So let's talk a little bit about what we got with the Punisher, how his story picked up in the series. So it picked up pretty much with him still on his course to avenge the death of his family. And we get to see that in the opening scene with him killing bikers who were part of the gangs that assassinated his wife and children. And what I like about the Punisher is that I like how they have expanded his story, and it's going in the direction now of what happened when he was a soldier, getting all his training, some of the things he did. You know, in the series, we early find out that Frank Castle was dead, that the Punisher has pretty much avenged his family and resolved everything. But then he's getting these messages from the character. We get to find out who's Micro, who's letting him know that he's not out of danger yet, that some of the things he participated in during the war is coming back in his past, or his past is coming back to hunt him. And so we get basically this very interesting, intricate story of what happened with the operations he engaged in. And it seems to be this type of black ops situation going on where they were part of this team of assassins that was not sanctioned by the military, but kind of operating outside of known military command. And they're basically killing terrorists, seems committing crimes against humanity. And, we get to understand that this was a dark period of time for Frank, and Frank's trying to get away, from this past. Now as he's avenged his family, he wants to move on from that. And just a lot of very interesting characters we get introduced to, and we get introduced to some new characters that don't exist in the comic books. I believe her name is Madani. And Madani is part of Homeland Security. She's this Persian American. She came over to America during the exile of the Shah of Iran in the late 70s. So she comes over and she's very good Homeland Security officer, and she's bridging everything together with how one of her field agents or partners were caught up and assassinated, and now that they're for possibly uncovering all this, and now Frank is connected to this, and she's finding that out as she's tracking Frank down. But I really love the direction they're taking with the story. In the beginning, it was so much about Frank getting revenge on the death of his family, in his mind, trying to right those wrongs. And now we have him, some evils he's done coming back on him. So now he has to fight this evil organization, a group of people that now possibly want him dead as well. And as he's trying to now move on from that, deal with the death of his family, and it and true to Punisher's character, Punisher the character functions on a tortured character, right? He's tortured. This is what drives him. And after the death of his family, now he's still being tortured by this, these black op, organization that's, now seemingly trying to tie up all loose ends, get rid of the people that knew who they were and knew their connections and various things like that. So doing a great job so far. I really love the mood of the Punisher. I was a tiny bit concerned about the Punisher, even though I know John Bernthal does a great job at portraying the Punisher. When his, as far as the storyline, when I was a little bit worried that they were going to try to replace action with the storyline, just have him doing a bunch of shoot 'em ups, a lot of shootouts every scene. But we actually don't get that. We get a very well put together story here, and I can very much appreciate that. I'm really enjoying watching The Punisher, and The Punisher just is just such a great story because even though he's in this superhero world, it's such a realistic outside feel to the Punisher within its own self and closed story. And I think they're doing an excellent job at that. Of course, we get to see Karen Page from Daredevil, and that's always been important in these Netflix Marvel stories, that you always have the character that links them all together. And in this case, it would be Karen Page. It's usually the night nurse, but she doesn't make it into this one. Karen Page is the link from Daredevil to the Punisher. And so that's a good link up. I was glad to see that. Always kind of pulls it back into that the character does exist in the superhero world. So they're doing an excellent job with the Punisher so far. Other characters introduced were Jigsaw. Jigsaw is basically under a type of formal, non-formal interrogation by Agent Madani, and she's trying to find out about Frank Castle. She believes he's still alive, and Jigsaw's only telling how great Frank was as a soldier back in Iraq, Afghanistan. So great, great storyline there. And Jigsaw's actually now in the private sector working as a type of contractor, for the military, the government rather. Interesting about the character of Jigsaw. I can't remember his name, but I'm pretty sure I've seen him many times before, and he bears a striking resemblance to Logan. Logan from Westworld. If you guys are watched the Westworld series, I'm pretty sure that's him playing Jigsaw. And Micro again, very interesting character. He's caught up in this web with Frank, and I like his character. I like what they're doing with his character, and I like how he's being integrated. And I've only gotten up to series 2 so far, so we got several more to go. But so far, so good, guys. Guys, tell me what you think about The Punisher so far. Do you think it's a great show? I think it's actually going to end up being one of the best Marvel shows. It might go to number 1 or 2 in my opinion, because I really love realistic, characters like the Punisher that get integrated into the superhero universe. But guys, anyway, that's my review so far on the Punisher. Guys, if you like content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, take care.